Hi, my name is Stacey. I am the Clinical Excellent Lead at KEO Care for home modifications. How I got started in home modifications is during my grad year. I identified that home mods was an area that I had quite a lot of passion to grow my learning. My supervisors at the time were quite encouraging of me jumping into assessments, working with both minor and complex home modifications, and from there, year after year, I kept building my knowledge in the area. All in all, I've been working in home mods for about 7 years now. So now with my role at KEO Care, I'm able to help other OTs grow their knowledge base and support them to help them understand and recommend home modifications. Home modifications for children aren't just about access, they're about creating safe, enabling spaces that support participation, play, independence, and family life. What does home modifications offer children? So first off, it offers them safety and injury prevention. So it enables them to access every area of their home that they deem necessary. It also offers them participation in self-care like showering, dressing, toileting, play, so accessing play areas, so the backyard, playrooms, things like that, and enabling them to carry out their regular routines. It also offers them the opportunity for skill development through real life practice. The main difference between home modifications for children versus an adult is that children's lives are generally constantly changing. So for example, their environment's constantly changing, their activities and routines, including social and play. As they age, they go through different play cycles. The roles of people in the household, particularly their siblings, change. So maybe when they're younger, the siblings aren't offering as much support, but as they age, siblings might jump in and offer more formal support. The style of equipment that they have changes also. So when you're an adult, generally you're staying roughly the same size, but when you're a child, you're constantly growing and the equipment's getting different as you age. Also, the stability of housing is constantly changing, and this is also very dependent on the parents too. So the role of the OT in paediatric home mods is balancing the child's independence and the carer needs. So obviously when you're quite young, it's quite expected that parents will provide a certain level of physical support for the kid. But as they age, it's generally quite natural for the child to want to move away from their parents supporting them. So it's always having that balance between what's expected of the parents versus what's developmentally appropriate. Another role that the OT facilitates is the advocacy and collaboration with the builders and the designers. So the family is the central part of the home modifications process, but it's also about bringing in the right team to work with the family the builders will also need to be quite client-centered also. The other role that OT will usually facilitate is making sure that the recommendations align with funding and also the safety standards. So next we'd look at the assessment process. So generally the areas that the OT is going to be assessing is the child itself, their carers, that includes parents, siblings or support workers. We'd also be assessing their equipment, the equipment that they use day to day, and also the regular tasks that they're engaging in. So that would be something like showering, dressing, toileting. So we'd then observe them completing their everyday activities. So we would discuss what are their usual routines, where do they spend their time at home, how would they like to spend their time at home if they had access to certain spaces. We'd then look at measuring the existing environment. So that includes both the physical environment of the home, so bedrooms, bathrooms, doorways, flooring types. We would then look at assessing their equipment. So we'd want to know what the dimensions are of their equipment, such as their wheelchairs, their floor hoists, their beds, how much space their equipment takes up in the area that's to be modified. And then we'd look at how their equipment and the participant themselves interact with their environment. We'd also have a strong focus on manual handling. This is particularly prevalent in paediatric home modifications because generally parents will continue to lift and carry their child in and out of the bathtub, in and out of bed, on and off the toilet because it's what they've been doing their whole lives, and potentially they might not know that there is a more effective way to transfer their child. So common challenges that you might face in paediatric home modifications is the type of housing. So for instance, if the family were planning on relocating homes, it can be a bit difficult to recommend large-scale home modifications. The budget's always a bit of a barrier, so generally when we're working with NDIS participants, we're governed by basic building materials, and sometimes that doesn't always align with the family's aesthetics. Culture, so in some cultures it is expected that you'll continue to care for the child no matter their height, weight, even if it's at a detriment to the parents' own physical well-being. And also another barrier is the actual growth spurts of children, because you might see them, and then 6 months later they're 5-10 centimeters taller. So it's about recommending modifications that are going to grow with the participant. So now I'm going to discuss a case example of a NDIS participant I worked with over the last couple of years. So when I met this participant, she was 6 years old. So her presentation was she had global developmental delay, full-time wheelchair user. She was also full physical assistance for floor hoist transfers from her bed to her wheelchair, but then her parents were physically lifting her from her wheelchair into the shower, which was a shower over a bathtub. So some of the challenges with this participant situation was there was also a parent who was sleeping in the same bedroom as the participant, because she had quite high support needs overnight. So a parent needed to be close by to assist in that scenario. So what that meant was it was quite a small bedroom to begin with, and there were 2 single beds side by side. So that didn't allow a lot of floor space for the hoist to get in there and assist with safe transfers. Another challenge that I discussed earlier was the shower over the bathtub. There was a high manual handling risk with lifting the participant in and out of the shower. Also another challenge was, as she was aging, as I was discussing about earlier, she was getting taller and heavier, so it was more challenging for her supports to help her complete self-care and transfers. And because of that, it was mostly just the parents who were helping with the transfers, and support workers didn't feel confident transferring her in the environment that was existing. So essentially, the participant's bedroom was adjacent to the family bathroom. So what we did in this situation is we proposed to create a new doorway between her bedroom and the bathroom so that it would become more like an ensuite. We took out the bathtub. We installed a ceiling hoist so that she could transfer from her bed straight into the bathroom to go onto a commode. It was a level entry shower, so she could be wheeled right into the shower with her commode, so no manual handling risk there. We also created more space in the bedroom by knocking out the wardrobe and relocating the wardrobe where it wouldn't be such a infringement on circulation space. We also widened doorways and installed new flooring. So that whole process from the time I first met her to when the home modifications was completed was about 18 months. So even in that time, she had grown even further. So once all the home mods were in, the family and the carers were able to safely support her to have a shower, to use the toilet, to transfer safely from her bed to her wheelchair, but also to have enough space in her bedroom to play. So overall, when done well, home modifications evolve alongside the child, supporting participation, dignity, and family life now, but also into the future.